Hey there, Chad here. Thanks for joining me. Let's play Rising Star 2. Now, this is kind of the first day of the game for me. I've done a couple of videos already in this series about getting set up and just getting to a point where you can begin the game. And at this point, it's going to be about strategy, less about the mechanics of how to do things in the game. The game is very self-explanatory in general. There's very few things that are complicated to figure out, and we're just going to get into it and have some fun. Now, my opening strategy is a little different. I take advantage of one of the mechanisms of the game, and that is if you go out and instead of doing a job, if you go out and play music at a park, you get a free point in playing, and that'll continue until you're at 20. So that's kind of important because across my 4 musicians, that's 80 points that are automatic, basically, that I don't have to go and spend levels on. We will level up pretty quickly for the first month, and then it really starts to slow down. And by the middle of the year, it's something that'll happen every few weeks, and by the end of the year, it'll be happening at maybe once a month. So you have to be kind of careful with how you spend your points, and getting free points is something you really shouldn't pass up. There are 2 parts that get free points, playing when you do that, and that's only up to level 20. When you repair things, when you're successful at it, you will get a point in repair as well. And I'm not sure if there's a cap on that, if it's also 20 perhaps. The thing is, I will repair things for days and days with one of these folks. They have several attempts to do that. I think it's 6 attempts per person. And, maybe once a week we'll have a success initially. So I will drop some points in here for some of these folks just so that becomes a little more of an avenue to move forward. So what we're going to do right now is we've set this up. My band's name is Everyone But Andy. And I know that in the previous video I talked about I was going to go ahead and set up differently. But here's where we can see what the name is. So I can't remember what I initially called it, but we went ahead and we set it to this, and we're good to go. And finally, in the last video, we went out and we bought some instruments. Everybody has an instrument or two that they can play. If we look over here at equipment, we'll come back to that in a minute. Let's first go out and see if we can do a job. And I'm realizing maybe we can't. I don't quite remember exactly where I ended the previous video. We did mow the grass at a park, so we probably will not be able to busk today. We're going to have to go do something else first. So here's that park. And if I slow down here, it will tell us can't busk today because the job was already done. Yep. So we'll go home. H is your quick key to get home. And we basically can do 3 things. To end any day. Well, technically 4. 3 things that we can do in our house is write a song or practice, or we can go take a nap, sleep, basically, go rest. Those are the 3 that we can do in the house to advance a day. You can also use vacation, but that's a little different. What we're going to do initially is we're going to write songs because we have nothing to practice. You have no songs to practice. You have to write your songs before you can practice them. And before you can do a gig, you have to have at least 6 songs. So we need to get busy on that. Now, our songs initially are going to be horrible. This is the songwriting interface, and let's talk about this for a minute. We can construct songs here. Each song is made up of 3 or 4 parts. The 4th part being optional is lyrics. And they basically are puzzle pieces. Each one has 3 shapes that it can match into. There is a rounded edge, a square edge, and a triangular edge. And then, of course, it'll have a recipient on the bottom. So that kind of shows you the number of piece types you can have. Each piece has a difficulty, and that difficulty works towards how hard the song is to play. Songs that are below 30 are considered basic, and songs that are above, I believe it's 70, are considered technical. That becomes important later. For now, what we want to do, though, is we want to go to develop ideas. The big one on all of these, we have a few 3s, but most everything will be a 1 initially. The the pieces, you match them together to make them into larger numbers. And then this is the quality of the song. So the maximum quality of a song is 100. And technically, it's actually a little higher than that. It's actually 140. But I believe there was a post by the developer that said anything over 100 is lost. I will double check on that and mention it in a future video, but I generally aim to try to get to 100. Well, right now, we have all 1s and 3s, so we can get to like a 12. We're not going to be writing any amazing songs initially. So what we want to do, though, is we want to increase these ideas and make them better. And what we can do is we go to Develop Ideas. And what you'll see here is they have, okay, so the pieces on here, riffs, those are the red pieces. They go in the upper left corner. There's a difficulty, a quality, and then whose idea it is. So these are Angel's ideas. These are Chad's ideas. These are Kiwi's ideas. And these are Topher's ideas. And then there's 4 categories. There's the riffs, there's the rhythms, there's the lyrics, and then there is the melody. And they're different colors, and they basically sit in the different quadrants of the songwriting square. So what we do, you'll notice some of them right now, when I came over to Develop Ideas, some of them are wiggling, right? That means that those can be matched with another piece. You can match pieces of the same quality and the same creator and the same puzzle piece. So these two will match, for instance. And there are some that don't have a match right now. I don't have a match for this one that I could try to do. There's a triangle here, but this one's a triangle and that one's a square. So I wouldn't be able to match those. And then there's also, well, of course, we don't have a whole lot of the higher level ones right now to look at, but you can't match across quality levels either. So the numbers will go from 1, I think it's 1, well, here, we can look at it here. They go 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, 20, 25, 35. 35 is the maximum quality. And each time we match, the tokens we are matching, or the pieces we're matching, subtract from our quality points remaining for the day. Right now, because our musicians are not good, our total is 7. Increasing our playing ability, which is why we're going to do the whole busk every day until we've gotten to the 20-point limit, will help increase this relatively quickly. It will grow further as we get further into the game, and you'll get to the point where this will max out at 100, and you'll be able to match up to 100 points in any particular day. It is going to take us a very long time to match all these out. We will be done with our busking routine probably before we finish with matching these, because once we've done them as 1s, they'll turn into 3s, and we have to match 3s. Now, each time you match, you lose one of the 2 pieces, and you keep the difficulty of the first one you click. So if you're wanting to write more difficult songs, you're going to want to click the first one. Notice they're ranked in that order. So this is a 6, this is a 2. We would want to do this. That'll make it a 6, or if we reverse that, do the 2 first, it'll make it a 2. We want to make it a 6. So we do that, and then we can hit spacebar or click here, and we will get a sound. And that means that it matched. Our producer gets some experience. Topher is going to level up very, very quickly. He will get points every time we match a song. He'll get points when we record songs. There's other things like that. So let's see. And points, by the way, experience, you spread that out among these categories as you see fit. It isn't like because he produced, this will go up. It's just raw experience points, and you assign them how you want. So now, once we've matched one, the new piece stays highlighted. In case there's another one, it can match immediately if you want to, jump something up quickly. There would be 2 problems here. First of all, we don't have another 3 right now. But secondly, we only have 5 points left, and 3 plus 3 would be 6. So that wouldn't work. But the pieces that are still wiggling, as long as double that piece is less than this number, we can continue to do this. So let's go ahead and do this one and that one. There we go. And now we'll be able to do one more. I don't know. Let's do that. That's all we can do today. We're down to 1 point. Now, depending on a few factors, periodically your quality will jump more than one level. I believe it will max out. I think it can only go up 2 levels. So starting with some 1s, we may periodically see it go to 6. Not terribly common because it is related to your level in things, and I think it's your songwriting level. But as we move forward, those jumps can become significant. If we jump from 10, instead of going to 15, we go to 20, we've doubled. Actually, that's kind of true of a lot of these. The numbers that they used, it's an interesting pattern. I'm not sure what drove it as such, but I will say this. It leads to the conundrum where you always want just 2 more points or you've got 5 too many. Now, you're always welcome to go over, and that's not a problem at all, but the not enough is something that will eventually drive you crazy. So let's go ahead and see what we can do here. We have done the writing a song task. Again, we haven't written a song yet. All we're doing is kind of combining ideas into better ideas is what this step is. Now, to end the day, as I mentioned, we can, actually, I think I said there were 3 ways to end a day. That is true. Yeah, we can write a song, we can practice songs, or we can go take a nap. A 4th way you can end a day is by recording a song. Anytime you record a song in a studio, it ends the day. And then there are times when you will be traveling that a day will end as well. And that becomes pretty obvious. What we're going to want to do for the time being is write songs. We're just going to write songs like crazy because we get points for writing songs, experience points, and that'll help us level up. And once we have 6 of them, we will make some decisions on if we're going to practice them or what we want to do. But let's just get started. And, if you want to maximize your quality, you always want to pick a big piece first, right? So we'll take, we got to go over here to construct song though. We'll take this piece. And then as we put pieces in, the remaining pieces are the ones that can be replaced there. And that's kind of important to know. So I played this 3. There are no 3s that are rhythms. So let's play this one. And what you'll notice is now a bunch of these disappeared. And that's because if I were to move this out, these are the pieces that have the round edge. Okay. Now I happen to pick 2 Chad pieces for now. That's not necessary. I can mix these up. Everybody who ends up writing a part of the song gets some of the experience. So early on, not a bad idea to mix it up as much as you can. Later in the game, there's this thing out here that's called the Shady Awards. It's basically the Grammys. And when we get to the point where we're wanting to start compete for those, it's good to have songs that are all written by one person because that's one of the factors in how that gets scored. We're a ways away from that applying for us, so we'll talk about it in a future episode. For now, let's just go ahead and continue here. Now, you'll also notice that some of these are different colors. I think these are all green. If you're not familiar, I am a little bit colorblind and I can't always tell these. I'm pretty sure technology is green right now, and there is a hint. In fact, this is interesting. I wrote to the developer and told him I'm colorblind. I can't tell the colors, and he put those arrows in for me. Isn't that awesome? What a good dude. I've had a few chats with him back and forth. He's definitely a good dude and knows music and knows programming. And I'm excited to be doing one of his games. He's got another one coming out this year, or at least hitting early access this year, and I'm excited to see that as well. It is not music related, so we'll talk about that another time. Anyway, these are the attitudes that are currently hot. There's usually 2 or 3 attitudes that are hot. I think it's 2. It's what this looks like right now. So right now, Depression and Hometown Pride are hot across the country, US and Canada. Their opposites are Vitality and Travel. Those are low. People don't want to hear those songs. And then Technology in Missouri is high, and its opposite nature is low. If we go to another state, that 3rd one could change. There are 2 things that are possible attitudes that aren't obvious here. You can have hot songs, fast songs, and we'll see that. We have the energy of the song. It's high, medium, or low. Sometimes high energy songs will be one of those attitudes, and sometimes low energy songs will be one of those attitudes. And again, they're opposites. So when one's good, the other one's bad. And it changes how things play for you, and that will become important when we start seeing that. The other one is they can be basic musicianship songs or technical musicianship songs, and that has to do with the difficulty. So as we level up, the difficulty of these pieces will increase quite a bit. In fact, I think they max out at 40, maybe above 40. I can't remember exactly. Right now, because we're new and have very few points in any of this, we're seeing a maximum of like 11. That's pretty typical. I like to aim for above 30 and under 70 initially so that I'm in that middle sweet range, because I think that's where I have my best chances of having popular songs. Let's see what we got here. We had a 3 here. Let's go ahead and go with that, spontaneity. And then, of course, now we're going to need a piece that matches in here. And if we come down to here, we'll see that there are a few of those. And do we have one by Kiwi? We do. Look at that. So the reason I wanted that is that means all 4 people have participated in writing this song. They'll all get some experience when we write it. Now, typically, I will have if I'm doing 6 songs, I want 4 of them to be high. I want 1 of them to be medium and 1 of them to be low. So I typically am writing a lot of high energy songs. When low energy songs are popular, it isn't the reverse. It has to do with how it impacts the crowd when you play them. And we'll look at that more closely when it happens. If you're playing all high energy songs when it's low energy, you will absolutely not do well in those times, and vice versa. But generally the pattern of 4 to 2 to 1 is a good ratio of the songs you want to have in general. We're going to go with a high energy song, and I usually just use the random generator and make sure it's not something that's vulgar or obscene. That does happen every once in a while. He's done a really good job of curating out things that can be misconstrued, but every once in a while something sneaks in there, and we're just going to try to skip that for now. Keep things PG or G as much as we can. So everybody buys a secretary. Like I said, that might not be exactly Pearl Sword to birthdays. Let's go with that name. So you can continue to click it and get new names. And I don't think I've never seen one that's been duplicated. I don't know how big his library is of words to pick from. So it's hard to say for sure. There's a lot of names that'll be in there. The long and short of it is, though, I've never really seen a duplicate come up, so that's good. And then once we've gotten everything lined up how we wanted, we just hit finish writing song, and that's going to advance the day. You'll notice it's Sunday, January 1st. We're going to click that. Everybody got 100 experience points. It's been added to our song list, and we can look at that real quick. Here is our song list, and Criticize is a song in there. And if we click on it, we get more information. It tells us who wrote it, the date it was written, its quality and difficulty, which we can see from a few screens. How good we are at playing it. Right now it's 0. We want to get that to 100. Popularity, nobody's heard it, so nobody knows it. This is not unusual to stay at 0 until you're a mediocre band. Live and distro exposure, well, we haven't played it. And we can archive it so that it doesn't show up in our list, but we still have access to it. Also, we can delete a song before we record it by hitting salvage, and we get these ideas back. These ideas are no longer available in the songwriting area. Now, it is Monday now, Monday the 2nd, so I'm not going to write a song just yet, but if we were to go look for those pieces, they are gone. There are a couple of ways to get them back. You can hit this up here, and you can see the songs where you can scavenge, but we're not going to do that just yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and work through this day, and I'm going to do the whole routine for you. We're going to go and busk, and you can walk out. You can also hit X to leave quickly. I'm not sure if we've mentioned that or not. That is typically what I will do. And then usually your van will turn around on the street if you're careful. And there you go. And we talked about the difficulty settings. Just don't run into buildings, and that saves you a lot of headache. So we want to busk. So we're going to do that. This is a busk. Now you'll notice they're all wearing generic clothes. We can actually dress them. We can set it up so that when they're doing this, they wear different clothes than when they're practicing or when they are on stage, and that's pretty cool. And everybody leveled up. Look at that. Everybody got a ton of song ideas. I think it said 14 song ideas. Every time you level, you'll get a few song ideas. 14 is a lot. When you get up to higher levels, you might get 2 or 3, so that's good. But as we can see, everyone has indeed leveled. We will go home first. I'm just going to hit H to go home. We will go home. I usually like to take care of that business when I'm here. It just feels easier to me. So we'll start with Chad. He is our business guy, and the higher this goes for him, the better deals we get to make money when we book gigs, and when we buy stuff, we can buy it cheaper and we can sell things more expensive. So I'm going to put 3 points in there for now, but he needs to, and we're not going to touch playing until that has maxed out on its on the busking. You'll notice it went up one. It was at 2 and 7, and the difference is 2 is his natural ability, and it was 1 and 7. It's now 2 and 8. 2 is his natural ability, and he has 6 additional points in equipment that is basically getting added in there, is what this is showing us. It has to do with what he has equipped right now. So I'm going to skip that one. We want him writing some music, and we also want to work on stage presence. Stage presence becomes very important later, but if you just let it sit initially, it will take a very long time to win battles and things like that. And so you want to kind of work on that early as well. We're basically going to do the same with everyone else. Now, Kiwi is our main music writer, so we're going to see hers is just jumping up there, and she will have a lot of music song pieces that get generated because of this. We also want her stage presence to go up, and we're going to move up her lyric writing as well. Since she's going to be our main songwriter, she's going to be the one who's going to probably win awards. Everybody can, and more than likely everybody will if we continue to play this out. But she's kind of the focus. She's the musical genius of our little band here. Topher is our producer, and I like to drive that up quickly because it helps with the creation of songs. When you go to a studio, the higher your production rate, the better quality you can record a song at. Also, you don't have to pay a producer because you have one, and that's really important. So we bumped him up 2 there, and we're going to give him music writing and stage presence as well. And then for Angel, she's our lyric writer. We'll do 3 there, and then we'll give her music. And I like to actually have her do some repair. I'll bump her up to repair to like 6 or 7 before I start trying to do repairs. And then once we start doing that, we will see how that situation or how that system works. All right, so we are in the middle of day 2. We already went out and did a busk job. So now it's writing more songs, and we want to go to develop ideas. And this is all we're pretty much going to do for the first month. And I do realize that's a little bit of a grind, but I think it puts you in a better spot at the end of January to play the rest of the game. And it leads to a lot more opportunities to play the game longer and have better opportunities for your band earlier. That's what I'm trying to get at. So we're going to match up this 8. Now these 8s, you can match those, but you're not required to match the difficulty. If we pick this, we will have another 8 difficulty one here. So let's go ahead and do that. Whoops. And then I did exactly the opposite. There we go. Okay, so we have a 3 now, and it is the 8 that we were just talking about. Let's match up some of hers. And we'll match up some of Kiwi's. She's got 2 8s. Let's do hers as a 5 and then an 8. Kiwi will have very difficult pieces pretty quickly because she's our music writer. So she will see harder pieces coming through more quickly. And I think quality points remaining today. We still have 7 points. Okay, so I didn't pay attention to where we started on that. We're going to want to do that in the future, but if we have 7 of those, let's see what else we can do here. There we go. A few more 1s. Okay, that's all our points for the day. Now let's write another song. And this one, let's pick this 5 and let's see. Now, of course, we'll want to start matching these 2 to get better pieces down here. I didn't really think about that much. And one thing I like to do is I'll often, when I'm trying to maximize quality, I'll grab the opposite corner pieces with the maximum values that I can find, because then it's just a matter of filling in the gap with things that match. And, it just tends to be a little easier than trying to, line it up as you go around. Different strokes for different folks. So this will be a quality 10. It is basic musicianship. I think the other song was too. And like I said, I usually do 4 of these, then 2 of these, then 1 of these. So Betty swaps at the bathroom. Nope. Yesterday she grows. There we go. And we will finish writing that. Topher was not a part of that one, but you'll notice Topher has a lot of experience points. I think we can actually see them here. Maybe not. We can see he's 59% past level 2 right now, and 55, 55, 55. And that is because he's the producer. He's getting more points than everybody else day in and day out. Okay, so it's now Tuesday because we wrote a song. The day advances. We're going to go outside one more time and go and busk. And this time I'm going to pay attention to what happened to that matches number. I didn't think to do that. But I think what we'll do today, just to show it off, and then we'll move on from there, is we'll do a practice to end the day. So here they're busking. There's like 4 songs that get played. And interestingly, if you remove one of the instruments, by firing the person or taking away their busking instrument, 13 pieces, and we earned $34, by the way. We also gained a little bit of popularity. So people are noticing that we're playing in the park and they're starting to like us. That is great. Let's go ahead and go home. And I was talking about something there about busking. Oh yeah, if you remove a busking instrument, that instrument won't play and its part in the music disappears as well. So that's kind of cool. Just very nice nuance and detail to how the parts of the game work. So we're once again going to triple up on this. We'll hit 1 there and 1 there for Kiwi. Triple up on that. 1 on stage presence, 1 on lyric writing. Let's do lyric and music this time for him. And writing music and stage. Let's do 1 more repair for now. Okay, so as I mentioned, the first week we had, I think, first day, we had 7 points to spend when we were doing the matching. I don't remember what we had yesterday. I didn't pay attention, but we're now up to 19. So I'd bet we had 13 yesterday, and we probably picked up 6 points the day after. And so what we are seeing is we'll be able to do 9 matches if they're all 1s, and we might be able to do some 3s as well if there are any. Here's a 3. So Angel has a whole lot of 3s, and technology is particularly popular right now. It gets a popularity boost when you play a technology song. That's why these will be green. White means it's neither positive nor negative. We can cross the lyric divide, and we will keep the lyric that is the type that's on top. So this will spend 6 points. We'll drop down to 13. There you see it, but now we have a 6. And then we can do that again. And we're down to 7 now. Now we could do these, but that'll cost 12 points. We can't afford it today. So let's do some 1s. Let's go down and do some down here. Do Topher. Chad. All right, that's all the points. Now again, we would probably go and want to write a song, but let's do practice just to see what it's like. When you go to practice, you click on songs to set them up as being practiced. We're going to do all of them. And what will basically happen is our playing ability will give us a certain number of quality points that get added to the play skill. And then it equally divides those over the songs that you are practicing. So if we're practicing 2 songs, we will get half the points that we could get maximum across each of these. Let's only do 1 just to see what is our current rate. Now, the fact that we're busking and getting 4 new points every day, that helps tremendously. But initially, we are only going to be seeing a few points anyway. Now that ended a day, and we gained 9 points. If we had split it across 2, we would have gotten 4 points on each. That's important to know as well. Everybody got a little bit of experience for practicing. This song is now we're basically 9% proficient at playing this song. If a song is extremely difficult, this play skill may not make it up to 100. If you write an exceptionally difficult song early when your playing skill is still low, you might only be able to get it to 60 or 70%, and you do not want to play those for a crowd. They won't like it. Okay, well, let's go ahead and wrap this episode up, and we'll pick up in the next one right about here. we're going to go ahead and continue my little practice of busking and writing songs basically and leveling up those skills while we can. So thank you for your time, and until next time, fair travels.